Hi everybody, this is FM 96.2. Welcome to our program Discovery. Today we are going to talk about the vampire. Some people don't believe they actually exist, neither did I. But today our program finds some witnesses and an expert. They want to prove that vampires exist. First, let's meet our first witness, Peter. Peter, tell me about your story.
Vampire must exist. I'm 70 years old and have lived in this town for almost my entire life. I found a strange girl. The girl was my neighbor, and she had some special habits, by which I mean she went out with her friends only at night. More exactly, she closed the curtain during the daytime. Besides, one night I saw she drank some red juice like red wine. But it might not be really red wine. It might be blood. At last, she gave me a strange smile.
That's a weird story. Thanks, Peter. Then let's hear another story. Stella, I ask you are the first.
Okay, I am a bartender. One night I was working in the club. A girl was drinking. Then I had some young men come to talk with her. Suddenly, the man showed the sense and beat her. I was afraid and left quickly.
That's an interesting story. Rebecca, you must be the girl in the story. Would you love to tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm the victim. I was bitten by a vampire. He must be a vampire or there will be no explanation. That night I was hanging out in the bar as usual. A man came to talk to me. After a few drinks, he leaned over. The next thing I could remember was I saw my neck bleeding and the man was gone. I saw the wound and it has 2 holes. According to all my knowledge, it must be made by the creature so-called vampire.
Are you not convinced yet? Let's listen to our expert, Winnie.
The history of the vampire begins in ancient Persia, where a vase was discovered, depicting a man struggling with a huge creature which is trying to suck his blood. Then, in Babylonia, means a deity known for drinking the blood of babies. Lilith was discovered. She was reputably the first wife of Adam according to old Hebrew texts removed from the Old Testament, and left her husband due to his sexual ineptitude, becoming the queen of demons and evil spirits. The vampires of folk history were totally repugnant creatures. They were depicted as crude, foul-smelling, reanimated corpses with a single parasitic-like motivation for blood. They are never actually observed in their vampire state by the living, but their existence is confirmed by circumstantial evidence within the surrounding community. The evidence for the existence of a vampire was thought to include such things as the sudden death of city nursery and livestock, under unclear or questionable circumstances. Also indicative of vampirism was a sudden onslaught of mysterious disease symptoms, especially those causing pale skin coloration and slow physical wasting, like tuberculosis. Along comes a traveling vampire hunter, often a clergyman or other supposed learned person with a specific knowledge of vampires and vampirism and the cure. The only cure, of course, for the wretched, eternally damned vampire and for the welfare of entire community was to find the grave of the suspected vampire, dig it up, cut off its head, and drive a wooden stake through its heart. Now, the dug-up vampire would show certain characteristics that would confirm the vampire identity. These vampire characteristics included such things as long fingernails, reddened lips, cheeks, and fingers, and finally blood remaining in the heart, demonstrated when the stake was driven in. There are actually many historical documented cases in the US and Europe where vampire hunts were conducted along with the grisly killers. I will provide one such example from the state of Connecticut in the late 19th century. The story of the last official case of vampirism in the U.S. is that of 19-year-old Mercy Brown of Exeter, Rhode Island, who died on January 17, 1989. The whole story is a tragedy, but true tale of vampirism in the U.S. Unfortunately, due to the prevailing folklore and superstitions in the 19th century and the pervasive spread of consumption, there are bizarre practices often occurred in Europe and the US.
After what Winnie said, I totally changed my mind. What do you think? Do you believe vampires exist now? Thanks for listening and welcome to join us next time.